Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I'm trying to even it out. Just because there's some holes in the floor and stuff, and I want to make sure that, like, if I'm placing water here eventually, that it's gonna be able to get everywhere. Especially with how weird the physics are. How's it going? It's my catchphrase. I think I got mostly everything. God, this is so scuffed right now. There we go. I do need to fix this too. I don't know if I want to close this up or if I just want to leave it. You know? I feel like it's probably better if I fill it in. See that? This is fucking terrifying though. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. See, all this stuff down here is like a problem. Like, I need to get rid of that. And stuff like that there. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many caves in this place that, like, it's hard to, I gotta get rid of all that, you know? That's that's terrifying. I hate it. What? Not possible. Doing all that stuff? It's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's the thing I'm gonna have to do last, probably. Just gotta be careful, too, because... See? Last thing I need is to anger an Enderman right now, too, because then probably push me off. All my good shit. Well, I'm not really worried about where I'm to right now, but going down there, I'm not doing that yet. Like I said, I'm gonna get, like, my bad elytra and stuff and go down there and do that, because that would suck. The other thing that I could do is if I flew down here and covered everything with water. You know? Because, like, there's also this stuff over here, too. Bruh. This dude is trying to get me killed. Yeah, I'm gonna work on the wall now anyway. Stuff like this I don't want to leave. Easier to place the water, the better. Obviously. Plus, like I said, I need blocks, so... Might as well just... Two birds stoned at once. I just find I think this stuff is hard, and then, like... I'll watch, like, other YouTubers doing stuff or whatever, or Twitch streamers, anybody that plays and builds a lot of shit. And then I'm just like, oh, right. What I'm doing is, like, simple compared to some of the stuff that they build is insane. And then these dudes always be like, oh, I'm not that good. It's like, yes, you are. You are that good. Maybe this is fine. Hang on a second. I'm gonna start building the wall again in a second. I think we're good now. I think I got almost everything. So this is the tallest one. It's got to be taller than this. I mean, we're not done, obviously, but I'm getting there. It's pretty close. Especially seeing as how I do three, every time I do one way around, it's 3 blocks higher, right? It's not just one. So it doesn't take as much time as you think it does. I gotta place this first. Make sure I got everything. Why am I holding a shield right now? I really don't need that. Can usually just... Bam. See, not that far. So what'd you think of the music? I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, he had been doing solo stuff for years, but like I like his solo stuff, and that's the first band that he's ever had with other people. So it's pretty cool. His solo stuff's pretty good too. He has like some personal stuff, and then he has like another one that's solo stuff, but it's like more comedic. And then there's that band. Man, filling this water is gonna suck. I'm gonna need so many buckets. Probably just gonna have to like fill a shulker box with buckets of water. Or a bunch of shulker boxes, not just one. It's gonna take a few trips, I'm sure. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in this game. I've never tried something this intense. I might do something with the ocean monument later too. Not yet though, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to do the same because everyone's doing the thing where they like drain it and like have it. They leave it where it's too, but they drain the water from it like in a circle and then just do whatever. But like I think I want to leave it underwater. I just want to do something cool with it. Maybe change the blocks or something. It wouldn't be the first one I went through. It'd be the second one that I found because the first one I went through, I'd like destroyed the outside of it too because I was taking it for blocks. So the second one I found probably be the one I use. Probably gonna put water outside of it too to cover up all its spots instead of trying to get rid of everything. Some of it I'm gonna have to, but for most of it I could just cover it with water. Because it's not like you're gonna be able to see outside of these walls anyways, because I'm gonna have them all. It's gonna be blocked in completely. So I'm gonna eventually change out some of the blocks in the wall for lights and stuff too. Like it's cool, right? Because I'm thinking like you do it, fill it with water, and then you can do like a bunch of ocean stuff under there. Change some of the blocks underneath the water to like dirt and whatnot, grow seaweed, and have all the other cool blocks on the go. Yeah, that it is. Almost. We're doing the music video this Saturday. I can't wait for that. We were gonna do it during the week, but I'm working at like every day that I am working. I'm working at 3, and then Aaron's schedule is all fucked. So we're just gonna do the music video on Saturday. I don't. We kind of know what we're doing, but I think we're kind of just winging it to a point. Figure out some ideas when we get there. Because at first Mike was like, we should do like another lyric video because we can't get out, and I was like, nah, we need to do something because like lyric videos are cool and all, but like I don't know. I feel like sometimes I like doing the music videos more than I like writing the music sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know if we're doing this one's gonna be just kind of weird, but there's like I said, there's one that I want to do that I think will be really cool once I get it together. I'm gonna probably need some models and stuff for that though. And we know a few models that would probably do the video. I'll pay them and everything. Like, look at that island down there. That's gonna suck. And all that shit there. That's gonna suck also. But yeah, I can't wait to do the music videos. It's gonna be fun. Because I like the music video for Fat Man. That music video came out really good. Especially seeing as how we were supposed to have a cameraman for that, and we didn't, because he bailed on us, so we just did it ourselves. I think my least favorite one we did was Osiris. I like the location, it's just it was so freaking cold that we couldn't, like, we literally shot the entire video in, like, 10 minutes because we couldn't handle the cold. It was so bad. And, like, where I'm allergic to the cold and stuff like that, or temperature change, like, I don't, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I really don't have a whole lot of, like, stuff to dress up for because I generally just don't put myself in that situation, you know what I mean? I generally just have enough to wear that, like, I'm not cold when I'm going from my car to insert other location, right? So it's like, yeah. I'm trying to go somewhere where my shulker box won't fall off if I put it down. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Why am I listening to this? This isn't even my thing. Ew. Man, what is this playlist? Okay. And the music video I want to do is going to involve me and a mirror. And I'm going to need, like, I don't know, it's weird. I got this concept almost like me with, like, different models, but I'm going to need them to, like, almost, like, know the words to the song, probably. At least a little bit for whatever lines they're doing. I got a really cool idea. I think it'll come out cool. Do I have more stone in here? I think I do. Is that it? Is that all I had? I thought I had more than that, but I don't. Yeah, see, but I'm a terrible... I can, like, do, like, different kinds of art, but I'm not the best artist for drawing stuff. Sucks. I wish I was. Makes some things so much easier. Can he land this? Nice. Uh-oh. That guy mad at me, I think. There's no death drops here anyway. Must have looked at him when I flew up. It's a hard thing to explain to people, too, like when you're trying to explain a music video, because I just sound like a crazy person. I was thinking about doing, like, some of the mirror shots I was going to do with myself, um, I'll probably just film it and not even say anything to anyone, because I can just do it with my phone or whatever. Yeah, I know. It's weird how I got a few messages from a couple people, like friends and stuff, talking about the album cover or asking like what certain things are or whatever this is, and yeah, I'm gonna have to break a mirror for it too, so that's gonna be fun. All the bad luck. I have enough bad luck anyways. It can't get worse. That's a lie. It definitely can. It can always be worse. I'm not superstitious anyway. But yeah, that'll be cool. I don't know. See, the problem is that like the whole thing with models is hard because like with COVID, it fucking ruins everything. Because then you almost need to like have them sign like a waiver thing. You know what I mean? Like there's different things you have to do, and like I don't know. That's why I'm saying it might not work. If it doesn't work, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something with my own face probably. I don't know if I'll might have to do like some makeup or something. Fuck, still not enough. I'm almost there too. I have to mine something somewhere. I need more. I'm gonna need a lot more too, so I'm gonna have to keep mining stuff eventually. I think the video we're doing on Saturday is, I'm not sure what song we're doing it for, but it's gonna be more related. It's definitely gonna be related to the album cover, because as we're doing it in the woods and whatnot too. So we wanted to have it around trees and stuff like the album cover. We need to do one music video like that at least. The video that I want to do, I wanted to do it for either Spirit or Saturn's Refrain. Either one. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Spirit I'd prefer, but I'm not sure if that's the one we're doing Saturday or not. I'll see when we get there, I guess. I feel like Spirit probably should be the one in the woods, because that's more related to the cover. And Saturn's Refrain might work better with the mirror thing, because it's like about, well, it's about Saturn. I told you that, right? Like, it's not about, like, the planet or not. It's about, like, my favorite painting, which is really, really dark. The gist of the story of the painting is that Saturn was like a king or like a leader or whatever, and his son was next in line to be king or whatever, and he didn't want his son to be king, so he basically ate his own son. So the painting is called Saturn Devouring His Own Son. And that's what Saturn's Refrain is about, or based on. Not technically about that, but it is. It's a really dark painting. Like, it's like really horror. I've seen it like a million times, but like it was in too. That's not where I seen it first though, but I remember seeing it in video games and thinking that's so cool because I already knew what it was. I think it's in like an Amnesia game or something. You can look it up, it's on Google. So that might be cool, something to do with mirrors. Kind of like a fighting with myself type of thing, or as well as family and whatnot. That's why I kind of liked it to a point, because the song I was writing it about like my issues with my family, but also putting that story into it more too. I don't like just straight writing things about myself. Like, I always like to relate it to something else that I like or know or something, just because I find it makes it easier to write. I can't write about myself, like, at all. Like, because I just feel it sounds cheesy when I do that. Kinda, yeah. That's what I'm thinking, something like that. Or daughter, or any kind of family. That's what I mean. I kind of want to have, like, I don't know. I don't want to be too cheesy or silly, but I'll try something. I mean, I can pretty much do most of it myself. I think I might do a lot of the shots, what I was saying myself, and, like, actually just show it to the guys. Because I find when I try to explain stuff to, well, not necessarily just them, anybody, really, and it's like, people don't get it. But then when I, like, actually show them, like, a product, and they're like, oh my god, it was such a good idea, and I'm just like, yeah, like, I just didn't know how to, like, tell you what I meant. You know what I mean? It's just easier for me sometimes to just do it and then just present it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Now that's not all my lyrics. That's only like that's what I mean. Like when I decide to write something that's personal or something, I always just do that, so it's not so direct. Yeah, abstract. That's a good word for it. I abstractly write about myself and my issues. I don't ever really write directly. Because people will listen to songs and they'll be like, oh, this is obviously about this. And I'm just like, nah, you have no idea. Because I feel like, who was it? JB or somebody said to me, like literally said to me when he heard Years in Front of You or something, he said it sounds like it's about Jess, but it's not about Jess. The way I wrote that song is actually probably the first time I ever wrote a song lyrically like that, because I was inspired by someone else's song and the story they were telling, and I decided to do like an almost continuation, but like from a different point of view. Well, yeah, that song is definitely inspired by the Muffs, because I wouldn't have wrote a song like that. That was exactly where I was going with it for that. Because like I said, even the scream that I do before I go into the solo is kind of like a tribute to her to a point, because I was trying to do a similar thing to what she used to do. Like, if I'm going to pay homage to like people that I look up to, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to do something that, I don't know. Like, if I mention it, someone will go, oh yeah, I could see that now. You know what I mean? I just like that band because they wrote good music, not just that, but because they were so purely actual punk. You know what I mean? Like they didn't give a shit about anything. They wrote and did what they wanted. Even if a record label told them not to, they literally just in an interview told them to fuck off. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty in that. That's one of the reasons I like punk so much. Dude, I didn't mean to look at you. Give me a break. So that's what I appreciate the most about that band. Not to mention that their music is amazing. Like, I don't know. I just think they're like the most underrated band. Like, they're so underrated, it's not funny. Probably because there's a female singer, they're probably underrated in that time. But yeah, it was the the guitar work started off as me because when I was covering that song by them that time for that video, I when I was learning their music and shit, and I was like, okay, and then I just kind of was playing around with different chords and stuff, and came up with like, it's a very like, what's the word? It's a very like, I don't want to say pop because it just don't fit, but like it's a very catchy chord set. So like, I was like listening to like different songs by them at the time and was just like, oh, I like the subject matter of what she's singing about in this song, and I was like, what if I just wrote something about pretty much the exact same subject matter, but from, I don't know, like a different point of view of that story, or a different person in the story, or maybe even someone she didn't mention. I don't know, just something like that'd be cool. Yeah, and since the song was already an homage and stuff like that, it was kind of like it fit good for that. So it's really not about anything personal whatsoever. Like some people might think it's a personal song, but it's not at all. It's definitely like a relatable theme, I guess, but like it's not directly about anything to do with me. Vaguely, maybe. As like I said in that radio interview at that time for one of the songs there, like when people ask like if I wrote about what's this song about, like some of it I write lyrics that rhyme and like that makes sense, but like it won't really be about anything. I don't know. And I just like to see what people get out of it more. Or sometimes even if I do write something that I had an idea for, like I don't ever tell people what it's about because I like hearing what other people get out of it. Because there's a couple songs, even like I said, with that like Price of Mine one, like where everybody was messaging us after we put out the lyric video, or all my friends that were like, "Oh, this is cool. This is what I got out of it," and I'm like, man, I never meant that, and I never even thought of that, and I don't think very many people got what I actually meant in it, which kind of sucks to a point, but I guess it don't matter. I don't know. It was a weird album to write because I kind of just wrote about. I tried to do different songs, different. Well, I mean, everybody pretty much was partly right because there's technically hints of that stuff there, but like I was literally just talking straight like the data that people literally sell, like when you sign up for Facebook or when you sign up for anything, you're literally allowing them to just farm your data and sell it. You know what I mean? And that was exactly where I was going with that more than anything. But also, I mean, that happens with a million other things too, so it's so easily relatable to really anything. It's really about the price of information, the price of your personal information. So I don't see many people writing about that stuff. Here's a problem more people should be conscious of, even if they don't care. People always got the whole like, oh, well, you know, I don't care about where my information is going because I have nothing to hide. And it's like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Why would you say that? It comes down to like all kinds of things, like privacy issues and stuff like that with technology too. 100%. There's a good, there's a, there's a good Ed Snowden quote on that stuff too. Exactly. Exactly. So you knows. Yep. What's that Edward Snowden quote? I actually love that quote. I'm trying to think of it. I'm probably gonna say it wrong if I say it, but I think I know kind of. It's like saying saying you don't care about your privacy because about like a government invading your privacy because you have nothing to hide is like saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. And that's so freaking accurate. Smart guy. So yeah, that's kind of where that song came from. Yeah, there's a villain. I don't know, everything nowadays is about convenience. If it's convenient, people will let you do what will let anything happen, really. There's not much you can really do about it either, unless everybody decides to do something together, you know? That's the way it is. God damn it, why do I keep doing that? Your Wi-Fi crashed. It's no good. Nah. I'm just playing block game. Right? That's it. I don't know. Stuff like that, I don't really get political with anything. I'm not really political on one side or the other. I think everybody's nuts. The world's fucked beyond repair. It's like stuff like that. Like I talk about it, I don't really worry about anything. I'm not, I'm not actually gonna do anything about anything really. I'm sitting here playing Minecraft at 30. So it's like, I just play block game. Man, this is looking so freaking cool. I'm surprised I got this far with it so far. I haven't like given up. So you should be here helping me. Much faster with two people. I joke. I don't expect play games with people and actually have them do shit like this. This is just me being literally insane. I just find playing with other people is fun because you can like build something. Well, I mean, together or like work together to a point. You know what I mean? Like usually, if I play with other people, it usually ends up being me building the house and then them going and getting all the materials and shit, like food and whatnot. Or if everybody's building their own house, that's fine too. I haven't played Minecraft with a few people in a long while though. Most people, no. Most people that I'm playing with are like, I'm not friends with anymore really. And most people that I know now are just like, oh, why would I play that? That's a kid's game. And it's like, bruh, not a kid's game. It's like saying Lego is only for kids. There's people that spend like thousands of dollars on like designer Legos, like Ghostbuster sets and Batman and Avenger sets and shit. Right? In my opinion, Minecraft is far from a kid's game. It's accessible to kids, sure. That don't make it a kid's game. There's like that time, remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I posted on my Instagram the picture of that Barney game, and I said, like, it's a terrible game or something like that. So one terrible game, one good game. One was like RoboCop versus Terminator, and the other one was Barney's hide and seek for Sega Genesis. And some dude just came on a comment and said, just because it's Barney the dinosaur does not mean it's a bad game. Because it's a kid's game, it's made for kids. And I was just like, no, it's just a bad game. A game does not have to be dumbed down for kids. Kids are not stupid. And like, I don't want kids, and I don't like children, but like, it's not for me. But kids are not dumb. People who treat kids like they're freaking idiots that's stupid. Kids are like so fucking smart. Which is why Minecraft is so popular to begin with. That game is literally just stupid because it's like, it's hard to, like, you can't die in the game, and like, it's hide and seek. You're supposed to find like all like the kids and like all these secret items and stuff in the game, but if you can't find them, it'll show you where they're to. If you don't find anything and you complete the level, it just goes, you didn't find anything, and there's no score, like, oh, you did a good job. Like, there's nothing, right? It's so dumb. There's a difference between a game being easier for kids and just being literally like a slap in the face to saying kids are really that dumb. They can figure shit out. They know what they're doing. It is dumb. It's a terrible game. JB only got it for me for Christmas or whatever, right? Because, like I said, it's our like tradition that we buy each other for Christmas and birthdays, like, one bad game and one good game. So he got me RoboCop versus Terminator, which is gory and like a mature rated game, but it's one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. I love it. It's such a good game. And then Barney the Dinosaur, because that's like the worst game he could find. Because I remember like the year before that, he got me, what was it? Dick Tracy, which is one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. And he got me Shaq Fu as the other one, because Shaq Fu is a terrible friggin' game. Even bad games are fun to play. I mean, half the games that me and him have beaten or like playing or have the most fun playing, laughing our ass off, is usually bad games because they're so bad that they're good. Almost some games are just bad, like that Barney one. It's just so bad. There's not really much you can say about it that's even funny. So it's just like some games are just fucking bad. Either way, that dude on Instagram that time agreed with me by the end of it, because like, I wouldn't just say a game's bad for no reason. Right. The funny thing is, I watched Barney a lot when I was a kid. Like that was probably one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. That and The Big Comfy Couch. Mr. Rogers, you know. We had Mr. Dress Up here too, but I don't think you guys had that. That was a Canadian thing. Yeah. Arthur. I was at work the other day and I had the Arthur theme and it stuck in my head for like literally hours. And it sucked. I always get the most random ass song stuck in my head. It's never like a good song. It's never like an actual song. It's always like a theme song of something that I don't even remotely like. It's like that, or like the Price is Right theme song or something. Like, why would I have that in my head? It's like the most random shit ever. Ah, itchy ear. I'm gonna get a way to play retro games on here soon, I think, because I want to do that. I'd love to play some like Sega CD games on this. Because different, and most people don't stream stuff like that, so it'd be something unique to me, I guess, to a point. There's not very many people doing that. Oh, I gotta skip this song. Heard this song too many times. Oop, goddamn. I don't know why it does that. I can like operate it from my phone, but then when I try to change a song, sometimes it'll just like play on my phone instead, and it's like, bro. Something I could beat that I know I could beat because I don't want to like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's weird to say because like even if I played something that I knew I wouldn't be able to beat or something, it'd be fun to just play through it. Just do like a playing a game until I can't. If it had to be like a Sega CD game though, the thing about it too is that if I do it like that, it has to be something that I actually own too, right? Like I can't just play any game. I got a ways to go yet. I'm trying to think now. That's a good question. Hang on. Let me have a look for a second. I'd say either this or this. These boxes are such a waste of time too. Have you ever like seen these? They're like huge off of that. I mean, these cases are actually large, right? Like they're literally the size of my head. Yeah, probably one of those two. I really like Mickey Mania. It's probably one of my favorite 2D platforming games ever. I'm not saying something considering I like Sonic games that much. Because, I mean, I could play games and, like, it wouldn't only be Sega stuff. Like, I could play probably, like, Jaguar games or Neo Geo, TurboGrafx. I love TurboGrafx games. There's ones I showed you that are, they're on cards, right? Like, credit card sized cards. I'm trying to think, like, yeah. Or even 3DO. 3DO games are fun too. I'd just like to play some more obscure systems. It'd be cool. Something that most people probably wouldn't bother even streaming. They might do like a review of, but not very many people are streaming it. Yeah, I mean, those two games that I even showed you just then are two completely different games. Because Mickey Mania is like a platformer. A hard platformer. Yeah, exactly. And Rise of the Dragon is like a point and click, like adventure game. Like those ones I was talking about the other night. Well, I could probably do the thing, say, like, if I was gonna stream like that, I could stream, like one game one night, and then, like, the next night do, like, a different one, you know what I mean? Just so it don't get stale. It's like this Minecraft thing, like, I need to go on my YouTube thing and, add it all to, like, a playlist, so they're all, like, in the exact same thing. So, like, if anybody actually wanted to watch it, surprisingly, all they'd have to do is just go to that playlist, and all the videos of me from the beginning of this world are there. Goddamn. It's because the cat was literally on me earlier. Now my allergies are all gone. But yeah. Sega CD is probably what I play the most, though. Because I love playing Sega CD. That and Genesis. Genesis just because it's the easiest one to set up and play. Plus, like, playing Jaguar games would be hard because I really don't own that many Jaguar games. I only have, like, 4 of them. Because they're so expensive. It's actually ridiculous. You're spending at least $200 on a game. Because they're rare now. Lucky to have a system, even. Especially, and I mean, that was probably one of the most expensive ones I've ever bought. In terms of retro stuff. think it's probably the second most expensive one I bought. Neo Geo CD is the most. Actually, it might be. It might be the most expensive one. I'm pretty sure Neo Geo, I think I paid, when I bought that from Japan, I paid 220 or something like that. And the Jaguar I spent like $350 on, I remember, in Montreal. That's why taking JB with me on vacation is a terrible idea, because he's a bad influence. That was something I actually wanted to do too a while ago, but I don't think that he would do it. Was that like playing games with like him, even on a stream or even just videos? Because like some of the shit that he says is hilarious, and I'm just like, man, like if we find it funny and we're having a good time, then people watching us might have a good time, you know. But I don't know if he'd be down for that. He's a pretty outgoing dude, but I don't know. I'm just finishing one more go around on this ball, the one that I'm doing now, and then I'm gonna go repair my shit because it's gonna die soon. Like my other pickaxe is almost broken. And that one sucks to heal. Yeah. He's a cool dude. There's not many people that I like fully say trust with anything, but he's definitely one of them. Fuck, I missed. What, known him? I met him when I worked at Swiss Chalet. So, like, 8 years. I consider him one of my best friends. Probably my best friend. Yep, it certainly is. Well, I've just had so many friends and people fuck me over constantly that it's just like, you know. I went from having, say, like, my friend group probably when I was, I want to say, 22, 23 or whatever, was probably like 10, 15 people, 20 people that I'd hang out with on a fairly regular basis. And now it's like 3. But that's not a bad thing. That's the first thing I tell everybody. Like, I had a dude at work coming to me the other day and saying that, like, his friends didn't want to be friends with him again because, one of them was drunk driving and they were doing it a lot. So he reported them. And now they don't want to be friends with him because of that. And I was like, you don't need people like that. Don't keep those people around. You did the right thing. Right? And I was like, if there's anything I've learned in the last, like, 8 years of my life, is that you do not need, like, 15, 20 friends around. You just need 5 or 6 really good friends that you can trust. There's a good Royce the 5'9" quote that that always reminds me whenever I talk about shit like that. Yeah. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to find that lyric so I can tell you because I'm trying to remember it. It's actually one of my favorite things that Royce has ever wrote, like in terms of lyrics. I always find he has really good shit like that. Yeah, I learned to give those who don't appreciate my presence the gift of my absence. I like that. Yep. Dude's a poet, man. He ain't just a rapper. That guy's a poet. Man, I was sure that this was gonna be enough, and it's not even remotely close to enough. Ow. I didn't mean to do that. Just need a little bit more. I need to fix that there, too. God damn it. Yeah, that should be enough, I think. Hope so. Yikes. Bro, I'm so bad at this today. Usually I got this shit. Don't get tired. Well, I mean, it's literally just holding a button. It's not like I'm pressing it constantly, you know? There we go. Right. Like this. Not to mention, these controllers are insanely comfortable. I've never... I'm very I'm very bad on controllers and saying when they're really uncomfortable. But they are actually so comfortable. It's probably one of the most comfortable controllers I've ever held. Like, I got a PS4 controller here, and they're really different looking. Like, see how weird, oddly shaped it is? I don't like the shape of those ones. But these ones are very nice. Probably one of my favorites, definitely. I still say the Nintendo GameCube is the most comfortable controllers ever. The GameCube controller is really comfortable, and the Dreamcast controller I really like, but the D-pad on it is terrible. It'd be perfect if it wasn't for its shitty-ass D-pad. How did I think that was gonna be enough? There's not even... I'm so bad here tonight. This is brutal. I don't want to look at any of these guys. I should reword that and say it's probably my favorite controller for like 3D games, I guess, with joysticks. My favorite analog controller, if that makes sense. But like for 2D games, like if I was playing like a side scroller, even when I play on like anything else, like computer or something, like I have a Sega Saturn controller. Because I personally think that's the best 2D controller. A lot of people prefer Super Nintendo controllers, but I've never ever found that Super Nintendo controllers that comfortable. Because like a Sega 6-button controller, like the one I sent you, those are pretty comfortable. But the Saturn controller is like a more refined version of that. I think when you're playing 2D games, like the D-pad is extremely important, obviously. If you know what a D-pad is. Directional pad. Because a lot of like game machines have these D-pads that are like just sharp on your fingers. It's not fun at all. Well, say it's like, hang on. I don't right here. It's literally right next to me. Okay, so like a Sega Genesis 6-button controller is like that, right? Which is obviously, I love the D-pad on it, right? This part here. Like, it's actually perfect, in my opinion. Like, I love it. So, like, the Saturn controller is pretty much the exact same D-pad, just the controller is a nicer shape and stuff. See? So, yeah. As far as uncomfy controllers go, the Atari Jaguar has that one in the bag, I think, for me. It's so uncomfortable. Which is this monstrosity of a controller. It's like, you love how you have like the phone keypad on the bottom? Like, why? I get what they were going for, because you can, every game comes with like a little like plastic overlay that like fits over these buttons and shows you what each button does for whatever game you're playing. So it's kind of like, you know, it's cool that way, but it's just so gimmicky that it's not worth it. It's like even when I play Nintendo games, like original Nintendo, I don't use one of those square ones. I never use the NES controller. I usually use like an NES Max, if you know what that is. Like, it's an official Nintendo controller that came out back in the day, but it's just more comfortable. It's not. I don't, like, game machines from like the 80s and stuff, how they always had like the number keypad on it like a phone for some reason. And it's like Atari just carried that over into this generation of consoles at the time, and it just, like, why? Like, just leave that in the 70s and 80s. We don't want that no more, you know? It is kind of cool in certain games, like, it works really well. In other games, it's just really, really awkward because, like, you're holding it and your thumb's got to go down, like, here. It's, like, really uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if that's the most uncomfortable controller I've ever used. I mean, like, official controllers, not like novelty gimmick ones that are like, motion sensing or stupid shit like that. I just mean like actual controllers that came with a game machine. Like, what's the most uncomfortable one? And that might be it. I like how I'm playing Minecraft, but I'm also just showing off controllers for no reason. It's interesting, I suppose. Like, most controllers I can't really complain about because they're either they're copied off of something else, you know what I mean? Like, generally most of them are like pretty similar. For certain, like, oh, this one ripped off a Nintendo controller. Oh, this one ripped off the Sega controller. Oh, this one ripped off this controller. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always a solid thing. You can't always tell which one they're doing. Okay. Fuck. Thought I had it down. I gotta get better at this because I'm doing all kinds of crazy shit lately with this. I really like Neo Geo controllers. They're probably one of my favorites too in terms of stuff like that. But I mean, they're literally straight, like, like a joystick and the buttons in an arcade that you'd have. Their controllers are literally like an arcade stick, and I love arcade sticks. So, I mean, I have both of the arcade sticks for Sega Genesis for that reason because I love them so much. But Neo Geo had like micro switches in their controllers, if you know what that is, like where it's really clicky when you move it. You know how like when you're in an arcade and the buttons click. Definitely makes a difference when you're playing games like that. Which is another reason why Neo Geos were so expensive, because those micro switches were not cheap back in the day, I guess. Like the Sega ones don't have that. I mean, it's not even hard. I literally have a shelf with all my controllers on it. Like, I did that on purpose because I was so sick of untangling them all the time. Plus, I'm going back to heal my stuff now. I'll show you when I get there. Because then I can, then I'm just going to be standing there waiting for skeletons to spawn, so. Well, we got a lot done tonight anyway. We're getting close. Definitely talked about a wide variety of things. I need to make more fireworks next stream too. So I'm getting low on them now. I'd rather heal this one first, because the other one I can heal by mining things. This one's more important. I wait for spiders to spawn too. Ham. I'll grab some and show you. I need to go somewhere more light though, because I can't see a thing. Yeah. There you go. Oh. This is the controller that came with Neo Geos. They're so nice. But I love them. They're actually so good. It's probably one of my favorite too. Especially arcade sticks. Because like both the Sega ones I have are like this, right? Yeah. Hmm. Turbo graphics controllers are kind of cool because they're kind of like regular Nintendo controllers, but they have turbo buttons, which are like this. They're nice also. I like those. Plenty of joysticks. Plenty of very uncomfortable joysticks. Especially with Atari. Here's an uncomfortable one. But I always liked the way it looked, which is this one here. Which is literally like you hold it like this, I guess. But it's so uncomfortable. But yeah, when I play Nintendo, these are the ones I always go with, these ones here. They were official back in the day, and I actually liked them a lot better than the regular controller. For most games. Some games it's not very good. Old school. Joysticks are like brutal sometimes. They can be good, for sure. Yes. Pac-Man. I mean, I have so many versions of Pac-Man, it's not even funny. That game has been on everything. Sword of Shield. That was one of those arcade machines I was thinking about getting, was a Pac-Man one, but You can't really do anything else with it because the joystick is stuck to 4 directions, and you can't, you know what I mean? I do like about this controller is the lights and stuff are cool. For certain games, they change colors to show your health and stuff too, right? Like it'll be like red if you're dying. I'm trying to think, there's another controller I can think of. 3DO controllers are nice. I do really like Dreamcast controllers a lot, though. They're not, I can't say they're underrated because a lot of people like them. Well, yeah, if controllers don't vibrate nowadays, it's like a given. It's not even just regular, like, vibrations like most controllers. It's actually like a... It's weird. It's like if you're stepping on grass or if you're like on wood, like standing on wood or you're doing anything, like you can tell the difference by the feel of it. Like you can feel the difference. It's so weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. Definitely cool. I need to take off my armor too because it's gonna heal that. I don't know, not much really. Might go out some places, I don't know. Probably. More than likely. There's not really anything I have to do right now, so I don't know. Yes, I'm trying to think. And I just thought of something. Yeah. So, you've probably seen a Dreamcast controller before, like these ones. They don't look like this D-pad here is terrible. It's horrible. But everything else I like about it. Right? Because like your hands wrap around it nice and everything. Plus the whole memory card thing, right? Like if you don't know anything about Dreamcast, that the memory cards are like this. And they have their own buttons and stuff. So that like you could, they'd like some games would have their own games that you could put on these and then you could take this with you as like your little handheld. And then when you come home you just put it back in your console. So it'd be like the Sonic the Hedgehog one where you take care of those like little chows, like little pets. And then you could put your pet on it like a Tamagotchi and take it with you. But then also when you're playing games, the screen is here, right? So you can see certain data from the game on your screen, like your score or like your health or something. So like it was really ahead of its time. Like really ahead of its time. Because that console failed so hard. And it holds 2 of them. Like I got a couple, see? So they're memory cards, but they're also game machines. The only problem with that is that they take watch batteries, which don't last very long. But yeah, you could take. I remember when I was younger, I used to like play the Sonic one, and I'd take like the pets or whatever with me to school, and like like play with them there on lunchtime and shit like that, and then come home and you transfer them from your memory card back into your game, right? So yeah, that was always cool. Dreamcast is a very underrated console back in the day. It's not now. I mean, now it's like a boutique, what I like to call a boutique console, because like everybody wants one. Because I don't know, it was like a hipster console, I guess. Now became very popular later, which sucks because it wasn't popular when it came out. For a little bit it was, but PS2 blew it out of the water. Because PS2 had a DVD player when DVD players were like still really expensive, so like it was cheaper to buy a PlayStation 2 for a DVD player than it was to buy just a DVD player. So like, why not spend the money to get, you know, a game machine that plays your movies but also plays video games? It just makes sense. It was like the best marketing strategy ever. Which is funny because the PS2 is the best selling of that generation. It was one of the best selling game machines of all time. But it had the worst graphics out of the three. The GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2. And the Dreamcast kind of counts in there too. But they were kind of in between generations. Well, I mean, the other thing with PS2 too was that like a lot of the other consoles were still doing CD games, right? Because they had DVD, you could put so much more room on it. You didn't have to have like 5 discs to fucking beat a game. You just one disc. You know what I mean? That was crazy back in the day too. Sounds stupid now, but it was. I've got the skeleton farm now. I know, right? Tell me about it. Whenever I have to go to work, I'm the same way. Believe me, I get it. That's it. Gotta make money somehow, hey. It's gonna take forever to heal this. I should really go mining probably and then cook a bunch of stuff and heal it that way. Might be a little bit faster. This is why I'm doing the end thing, see, because the Endermen give you so much more experience than this. This is good at like the beginning of the game, but like nowadays, now it kind of sucks. It's not really much good to me. Good for getting like bones and stuff, but XP not really. So, I mean, like I'm already got like 2 stacks of arrows, 3 stacks of fucking plus all this. um, It's a fair bit, yeah. I like to have them in at least the orange or yellow, so that they're not gonna die too fast. I'm just trying to find something to do with those fences I got from the end. Bone Thugs and Harmony. So good. Listen to DMX right now. I was listening to mostly Nas tonight. If you ever listen to Nas, I don't know. Same thing with this, like I'm getting a good few bit of spider eyes and fucking wool. Nas is a goat, man. He's probably one of the best too. It's so hard to do like a hip hop list. Like people always go with like, oh, my top 10, and like I do that too. But like, it's a hard thing to actually do because there's just so many, and there's more with time. So you can't just go, this person's the best. Not to mention the people that didn't make it, that either died or were killed or something. It's like, you know, you don't know if they were gonna be as good years later either. They might have been shitty in their next album. You don't know that. Probably not, but listen to Pac now. It's just a random playlist. I don't know. Hail Mary, good song. Obviously, it's like probably one of his best. Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys are like so underrated nowadays too. Like people never bring them up anymore, which I think is pretty stupid. I think Busta Rhymes is underrated too nowadays. He never gets brought up in like a top 10, top 20 even. Then you got like Method Man and Redman. So good. Yeah. Somebody asked me today, like, who I thought, like, the most, like, a rapper in their 30s or whatever of that generation. Who's the best, from, like, 2010 plus era. Who's, who do I think is, like, the maybe, like, top three? And I said, Kendrick Lamar, Joyner Lucas, right there, Big Sean. I think it's a lot. People always do like the greatest of all time, like the GOAT or whatever, right? And I don't think that. And then if anybody says M, it's like, oh, it's blasphemy. But I don't think there's anybody that could step to him. I really don't. Maybe people come close, but I don't know. I don't know, man. That dude's one of a kind. Obviously, I'm a friggin' huge fan, but like trying to be unbiased. But I mean, seriously, when you think about the technique and the stuff that he does with words, there's nobody else doing anything like that, present or past. And people that come closer, like Royce the 5'9", is close for sure. Nas is close for sure. I think it's a lot easier to categorize according to decade, maybe. You know what I mean? Say, like, who's the best rapper from the 80s? Maybe LL Cool J. What do you think? I always find it funny, too, because I think Will Smith gets left out of the talks when people talk about good rappers from, like, the 80s and 90s. Like, Will Smith's a really good rapper. Especially the Fresh Prince days. Big L is really good, too. Like, just off the top of my head without thinking too much about it. Like, if I had to think about it, it'd probably be different. But I'd say 80s would probably be LL Cool J. Would probably be number one. 90s, I'd say that's that's a hard one. It's between Pac and Notorious Big, obviously. Personally, I'm a bigger Notorious Big fan than a Pac fan. I mean, wearing the shirt. But, like, yeah. So I'd probably say Biggie from the 90s. Or Pac. See, Big is good rapping-wise. I'd say he might be more technically sound than Pac, but at the same time, Pac's subject matter was a lot more impactful. Stuff he's writing about. Yeah. I mean, you got other people that come close in those decades, like Ice Cube and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't, he's good at what he does. It's so hard to talk about this stuff around people, too, because people get so defensive over certain things. It's just an opinion. I'm not saying mine is the final. No, like, you can't do a greatest of all time. It's so hard, because, like, not just that, not just a different style thing, but you're taking people that before it was elevated, you know what I mean? Like, you can't compare, in my opinion, you can't compare Pac or Big to Eminem and Jay-Z. You can't. Because, you know, like, M wouldn't be M if it wasn't for Pac or Big. Like, obviously those are his influences. Obviously he's influenced by Onyx and all these other bands, you know, Rakim, all these other groups, I mean, and stuff, you know, like, they advanced it. You can't say they're better. That's what, like, I do the same thing with rock music. I'm like, people say, oh, you know, like, Jimi Hendrix was the greatest guitarist of all time. And I'm like, no. There's a million guitarists nowadays that are better than Jimi Hendrix. Sorry. Like, technically speaking, and how they're playing and how fast they play, what they're playing, they're 100% better. Maybe the most influential guitarist of all time? Yeah, probably. That's the way you need to look at it, almost, you know what I mean? Big and Pac were probably two of the most influential rappers of all time. Because a lot of rap artists nowadays would not exist if it wasn't for them to, you know, pave the way or whatever, or do a style a certain way that added to someone else's style that, you know, they wouldn't have rapped like that otherwise. Which is the same way with M or anyone else, you know, like there's rappers nowadays that wouldn't be rapping the way they're rapping if they didn't grow up listening to Eminem and Jay-Z and Nas in that generation, you know? But like I said, off the top of my head, I'd say LL Cool J for the 80s or something like that, maybe, and, or Big L. And then the 90s, I'd probably say, uh, Notorious Big or Tupac. And probably for the 2000s, I'd say it's between Nas and Eminem. 2010s, Kendrick Lamar, 100% is the best one. And probably Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas is insane. He's a good example. Like, Joyner Lucas would not be Joyner Lucas in the way that he raps if it wasn't for Eminem being his influence, as well as multiple other people, obviously. But his Eminem influence is very clear. Nah. Nah. He can make jams. You also got like people like Jadakiss too. Jada's a really good, right? And it's funny with rap music and stuff like that too. I think people always do the same thing with like groups in rap music. Like they talk about the greatest groups in rap music, and obviously Run DMC, you know, Onyx. God, there's a million NWA. But then people always leave out D12, and I'm like, man, D12 is, they were so good, even without M. To say take M out of D12, the rest of them are insanely talented, multi-syllable rhyming. Like, the stuff they're doing is crazy. Proof. They're all amazing. Even Bizarre can spit quite good at times, you know? Even though most times it's just like a silly comedic thing. And I know some people will probably, in, like, say, 2000's best rappers, they'd probably put 50 above M, but, like, I don't know. I don't think 50 would put 50 above M. He knows that. There's so many good 50 quotes about him. What's that one interview that he did where, like, he's like, you take any rapper, he's like, any rapper, ever, and you put them face to face with M, and he's like, he will eat them alive. He'll eat them alive. He has no doubt in his mind that M would just destroy anybody. And that's coming from 50. 50 is one of the greats, too. From other groups, why you got, like, Cypress Hill, Public Enemy, right? Like, you can go on forever with groups. That's why whenever I say, like, good rappers, I tend to single out certain people from groups. Because, like, when I'm listening to D12, like, my favorite verses are rarely Eminem's verses. They're usually Proof's, honestly. Proof is so good. Sucks, man, that he died, because, like, the one album that Proof has is amazing, and I'd love to hear more. M wouldn't be M if it wasn't for Proof, for sure. I think people need to take, like, some of his older stuff, like, even the badly recorded stuff, and just, like master it or do something with it. And release it or something. This would be cool to hear that stuff in, like, a decent quality. Holy shit, a spider jockey, look. That's rare. Yeah, and now he's dead. That was long enough. But yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that's crazy. Personally, I think that, like, the best, probably, like, producer in terms of rap of all time is probably easier to narrow down. And that's 100% Dre. There's no way. Dr. Dre 100% all the way. Not just because of, like, the work that he's done, but, like, the people that he's discovered. You know what I mean? I mean, if it wasn't for Dre, we wouldn't have NWA. We wouldn't have, M, obviously. Wouldn't have Kendrick Lamar. Not to the degree. We wouldn't have 50 if it wasn't for M and Dre, because nobody wanted to sign 50 back in the day. People don't remember that, see? 50 was too dangerous to sign, because he had so much beef with, like, actual people. I mean, the dude got shot, right? Multiple times. So nobody wanted to sign him. I think that's the other thing that people go back when they talk about people like that, and they take the records in, the music they did, but they don't take the history and where that was at the time. Like, when 50 Cent came out, he was everywhere. Like, I remember that like it was yesterday. Well, he was, I don't know the exact history of it, but he was recording with Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, right? I'm pretty sure he was producing some music with him or something like that. He might have an album, I don't remember. But, yeah, he was doing stuff with Jam Master Jay, and Jam Master Jay got shot and killed, so, I mean, that was like a bust, right? It was like 50 said a million times. He literally he owes his entire life and fortune to M, because otherwise, like, no one would have signed him. I mean, Dre didn't even, apparently, according to M, Dre didn't even want to sign him originally, but he had to convince him. And, like, Patiently Waiting is probably one of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time, in my opinion. Here in a second. if it wasn't for M and Dre, we wouldn't have this masterpiece of a video game. I don't know if you've ever played this before. It's actually a good game. I like it a lot. I loved it when it came out, and I love it now. That's a game I'd like to play on stream too. That's another good group there, G-Unit. G-Unit was huge. People talks about that shit nowadays like it don't matter anymore. I think the people that throw M under the bus or whatever and just say that he's no good or whatever because he's white and stuff, they're also the same people. They'll throw 50 in just by association and shit like that, and it's like that's ridiculous. No, it's more of like a third-person shooter. It kinda, I guess, because you take missions and stuff, but like it's not really though. It's more like there's a hub world, like there's your street that you live on, and whatnot, and then there's other characters in the game. Like obviously 50 plays himself and whatnot, and G-Unit is in it. And I don't remember. The story to it was I think it just revolves around him getting shot and stuff too, and getting robbed and whatnot. Yeah, it literally says on the back, after getting shot 9 times in Left 4 Dead, 50 climbs from the jaws of death to exact revenge on his enemies. It's literally about that. He made a video game about exacting revenge on his enemies. But Dre and M are in it too, right? Not as themselves, though. Like, Dre is a gun salesman. He sells guns out of the back of a van in it. And, M is a undercover cop that's a dirty cop that sells stuff to him. And gives him information on people that he's looking for and stuff. It's actually funny. Because, like, his character model in the game is, like, it's Eminem, and you can hear, you know his voice and everything. But he's got, like, gray hair and stuff, because he's supposed to be, like, a 40-year-old cop. It's actually hilarious. It's, like, it's almost funny, but, like, it's not at the same time, because, like, it's actually, like, a decently well put together game. Which is surprising, because most times when there's games like that, they're usually terrible. There's a sequel, too, that's actually horrible. I think it's called Blood on the Sand, or something like that. I'm surprised they haven't done more movies. I'm surprised M never did more movies. Like, he's in, like, 2 or 3 movies, including 8 Mile, obviously. But, like, he never did anything after, and it's like, man. Key and Peele, man. Everything is gold. And when they used to be on, Mad TV, did you watch Mad TV? Because I found a lot of people forget about them being on Mad TV. Yeah, like everybody knows Substitute Teacher from like Key and Peele and stuff like that, but nobody remembers Coach Hines, which makes me so sad because Coach Hines, man, I could quote that all day. All day. Like, I literally quote that at work and places and people don't even know what I'm referencing. It was, man, when he used to do the Coach Hines character with, like, the short shorts, like, where you could, like, see his nuts and shit, almost. Like, blowing the whistle and whatnot. I'd be like, I will set you on fire! I used to die, man. It's so good. Yeah. But yeah, Co-Chimes, man, I'd watch that shit so many times on YouTube, and most of it's not on there no more, which sucks. But should probably take some of these bones back and turn them into. Yeah, so good. So the Asian guy in it too. What was his name? He has a YouTube channel now. In Living Color, of course. It had Jim Carrey on it too. I watched all that stuff, see? Because I just find, like, SNL... I know it sounds horrible to say, but SNL kind of sucks. SNL hasn't been good for a very long time, in my opinion. Like, I think the last really good SNL was when it was, like, David Spade and Adam Sandler and, Chris Farley and stuff. Like, that was the last really good. They're like the second best crew. Like, the best is obviously the classics. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Steve Martin, and stuff like that. John Belushi, obviously. Can't forget John Belushi. That man, that man was a genius. Oops. Yeah, I should have. If I didn't. You're forgetting one key thing, and that's that I'm an idiot sometimes. Or most times at this rate. I mean, SNL nowadays has a few good sketches. It's not horrible, but like, you know what I mean? It's not horrible. It's just like, it's not the same in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being old. My generation, or this generation, was better. Back in my day, we laughed at fat men dancing and shit. It's like Chris Farley's thing. There we go. The other thing that I was like noticing lately with the SNL stuff is like people were really criticizing like a lot of the jokes that they had in the 90s and 80s and stuff, and it's like, man, like it's a different time. You can't go back and go, oh, that's inappropriate. It's like, you know, that stuff is like that. That's just the way it is now. I don't know. It's comedy. With comedy, you just need to turn off almost. Don't think reality. Just make fun of everything. Everything should be allowed to be made fun of for the most part. You know, that's what makes it funny is crossing the line. Some of the funniest comedians are funny because they literally step over the line all the time and don't care. That's why Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest comedians ever. That's why Richard Pryor is probably the greatest comedian ever. That's why Bill Burr is such a great comedian. You know, the comedians that don't do that, like, no, you don't talk about them no more. You don't remember them because they had one good bit or they had a couple good bits. That's it. It's not just shock value like people think it is either. It's literally just, you know, it's commentary. It's like taking something that's really serious and making light of it, and people don't get that anymore, for the most part. Because it was like when Dave Chappelle came out with like his last special or whatever, and everybody was trying to cancel him because he made like some jokes that people didn't like, and it's like it's so stupid. Or canceling Bill Burr. I was like, come on, like get over it. I get it. I mean, it's fine to be offended by things. Things can be offensive, fine, but like there's a time and a place. Like if somebody was just saying some crazy off the wall shit, like he'd say in his comedy act, like out on the street, sure, but you know what you're paying for when you go to a Dave Chappelle show. Nobody goes to like a Dave Chappelle show and has never seen him before. That's like the dumbest thing ever. If you've seen a Chappelle show or you've seen him acting or you've seen anything like that, like you know what you're in for. Exactly. Well, I mean, it's just like it's like the logical way to think. You can't get offended if you're gonna get offended by every single thing that happens. You're gonna have a bad time because you're gonna spend half your life complaining about things, and you're gonna not notice any of the good things, not have any fun. It's that time again. I should probably get off anyways. I'm talking about too much controversial shit. I'm gonna get canceled before my next episode. Nobody even knows who I am. Peace. See you later. Thanks for watching yet again.